know you have been working closely with Sidney Powell and company to highlight these issues. And I know the media has made great hay of what you've allegedly said about your concerns to people, third hand, fourth hand, or no hand sources. What's your thinking on the election? I mean, I'll just give you my simple approach. They changed the rules in a way that's illegal, and they counted votes they weren't allowed to count. Therefore, the states, and that difference was the difference for Biden. And as a result, Trump should win. It's not a question of wanting Trump to win. It's just what the elections lawfully run show. But you've gotten a little bit deeper beyond that, and you're a little bit out there further on the computer issues, and more specifically, and I think our audience would be interested in this, and it goes to your previous comments about the foreign connections and interference potentially in our election processes, and what should be done about it.
Yeah. So, number one, our beautiful Constitution has a process that we are following, and I think that has to be followed. Like in warfare, the best plan gives you the most options up to the last possible minute on the battlefield if you want to be successful. And great leaders, great commanders, they may not always convey all their options, but they know what they are, and they understand up to the last second that they know, as time goes on, I might be giving up certain options because I'm going down to the last second here. And I think that's where the president is at. I believe the president is exhausting the constitutional process, and rightly so. So on this Dominion, ES&S, which is the other system, electronic voting systems, and another company called HART, and they use this version of a Smartmatic. Dominion uses this software, Smartmatic. So all that said, our electronic voting systems, by law, are not supposed to be connected to the internet. So they're not supposed to be connected to the internet. You're not supposed to do software updates prior to an election, during the election, or after the election, unless it's recertified, meaning the entire thing has to be shut down, recertified, and in fact, if I have my dates, my numbers correct, or my days correct, it's 90 days prior. If you're going to make a software change, you have to do it 90 days prior to an election.
So no patches in the middle of the night.
No patches in the middle of the night, no patches the day before, no patches after. Okay.
Right.
So, and then the other thing about the internet, it's not supposed to be connected to the internet. So we have factual evidence that through forensic analysis of these electronic machines having IP addresses, right? An IP address is an internet protocol. It's essentially an electronic handshake between me and Tom Fitton. And that electronic handshake is between one machine to another machine. In some cases, that other machine is a server, right? Is a server that everybody now is familiar with. So we have internet protocol addresses that go to China, that go to Serbia, that go to Spain, that go to Germany, that go to Russia, that go to Iran. I mean, these are clear. This is clear evidence. So put that aside, because really what you highlighted was unconstitutional actions by states, and in some cases by counties. In certain counties, Maricopa County in Arizona, Wayne County in Michigan, Fulton County in Georgia. So you have unconstitutional actions taken that are outside of the Constitution, that, especially for our election process, that were taken. And now everybody's going, well, there's no evidence here. The media is going, there's nothing to see here. There's no fraud. Hell, the president of the United States is being censored for Christ's sakes. So right. There's only one judge that I am familiar with as it stands right now that has actually reviewed the evidence in any real detailed way. And that judge is a judge up in Michigan who was this Antrim County judge who actually had a great suit put in front of him by a plaintiff who felt disenfranchised because of his vote on marijuana, if you can believe it. And lo and behold, through that, we discover that Antrim County had some abnormalities and actually outside the Constitution actions on this Dominion system. So from that and from a couple of other points of collection, we have learned what I just described to you about this foreign interference. And foreign interference is really, it doesn't mean that they change the outcome. It just, all you have to do is identify that there was interference, which we have clearly identified interference. So,
yeah, I mean, the memory hole approach to this, look, witnesses about what happened in Venezuela aside, we've had report after report until it became inconvenient to remember those reports that Chavez stole the election using an electronic computer system. Smartmatic has admitted they left the country because of the abuse of their system. So it's not unfair to ask, it seems to me, we're not even allowed to ask the question, well, can the systems that Smartmatic used that are, and they don't have to be one-to-one systems, but they're all basically the same approach. I mean, they all have their own little patent related to the programming, but it's all, you can only count votes so many ways. Are those systems susceptible to manipulation the way they were in Venezuela? And we're not even allowed to ask the question.
Right. Tom, Judicial Watch is a master of lifting up the rug and finding the dirt. Okay. But we don't have time for that right now.
Well, that's true.
We really don't. We don't have time for it. But the question is, what is it?
Any documents? They're not giving us documents.
The question is, what are they hiding, and why? Why are they hiding it? Why not? If there's nothing to see here, then just open up the kimono and let's take a look at it. Let's find out if we truly had foreign interference in our election. I can tell you, it's not whether we had it. We have foreign interference in our election. There is no doubt. I am 100% certain of that. We have domestic interference in our election through a whole series of things, from the video from Georgia down in Fulton County where they pulled the suitcases out from underneath the table while everybody was gone and they started flipping votes at that point in time, to a bunch of other examples of abuse and fraudulent activity across the country in various, and a lot of these hearings that Rudy Giuliani and his team held. I mean, you can't deny where you have, I think we're upwards of 50,000. I think it's even more than that now. I use 50,000. That's probably 2 weeks old, of American citizens who have come forward under penalty of perjury and signed affidavits to say, I saw this, I witnessed that. And these are powerful testimony to a fraudulent election. And so for the media and for those that the Democratic Party who are saying, nothing to see here, let's just keep moving, I'm going to appoint somebody else to be secretary of this or secretary of that, and shut up and go home, take your ball and go home. Now let me just,
my perception is Biden knows he doesn't have a legitimate claim on the presidency, and I think his appointments, his attitude, his behavior suggests someone who knows they've been caught with their hand in the cookie jar. And it's not to say that Biden stole it personally. The left and its allies broke the rules to get him in power. That was what happened. And I think on the election, my view on the election security stuff is what we're going to find is what you said, that they broke the rules. So they broke the rules in a way that compromised the results. Didn't mean that the results were compromised. It made it impossible to reassure any normal person that they were legit. Mm-hmm. So when you break the rules, when you have computer systems that can be breached and are breached, and when you are changing the systems in the middle of the elections, you're breaking the law and you're undermining the administration of the elections and therefore negating them, the results. That's what they're worried about. They don't, even if it's just bureaucratic bungling, they didn't want to, they were going to do their patches and they didn't think about the implications of it. They recognize that it bursts the narrative that the election was administered fairly.
Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube